Pitt's future may be in jeopardy due to his push against Angelina Jolie in the Winery lawsuit. It is a stark warning of how a legal battle can reshape not only a global star's career, but also his public image. Many assume Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie severed all ties after their marriage collapsed. Yet, in reality, the fight continues, not in love, but in ownership and reputation. From Chateau Miraval, the prestigious winery tied to Pitt's name, to rumors of a forthcoming memoir that could expose unspoken shadows, the portrait of the pair once hailed as Hollywood's golden couple has grown increasingly strained and conflicted. The real issue is not simply who wins or loses in court, but how deeply Pitt's reputation, career, and even his artistic legacy might be shaken. What makes this case remarkable is that it is not merely about dividing property. It reveals a years-long psychological tug-of-war, with Jolie worn down by exhaustion, while Pitt clings tightly to what he calls a piece of his personal legacy. Behind the legal paperwork lies a battle over control of their public image. Should Jolie publish her memoir, as several sources claim she intends, intimate details could explode into a media bomb, impacting not only Pitt's acting career, but also his business ventures. For a star who has spent decades shaping himself as not just an actor, but also a successful entrepreneur in the wine industry, such a blow could be devastating. People often believe a broken relationship ends with divorce papers, custody rulings, and financial settlements. But the case of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie proves otherwise. Some separations never truly end, dragging on year after year, court hearing after court hearing, file after thick file. And behind the cold numbers of money and legal clauses, there are fractured hearts, indelible memories, and repressed regrets, where even the mention of each other's names can summon a storm of recollections. Their story circles around Chateau Miraval, a picturesque estate in the south of France, once filled with the laughter of 6 children, once the site of a fairy tale wedding, once the place where Hollywood's most powerful couple believed they would grow old together. Yet now, Miraval itself has become the reason they meet in court, not as lovers, but as plaintiff and defendant, staring across the barricades of lawyers. Each time the judge strikes the gavel, perhaps they both wonder, how could a love once so radiant turn into this icy battlefield? From the outside, it might look like just another multi-million-dollar property dispute. But the deeper one looks, the more this lawsuit resembles a bottomless pit pulling both of them in, a place where law and emotion blur, where every legal motion carries the shadow of a lost love. Pitt sued in 2022, accusing Jolie of breaching their agreement not to sell her Miraval shares without his consent. Jolie countered, alleging Pitt tried to impose a sweeping NDA to silence her about their past, particularly the painful 2016 airplane incident. At this point, it became clear the case was no longer about assets. It touched on dignity, on the right to tell one's truth, and on the question, where is the line between protecting a brand and enforcing silence? Inside the courtroom, where lawyers argue with fervor and judges scrutinize each word, sit 2 people who once loved each other fiercely. And every time Miraval is spoken, it isn't just a business they are disputing, but their very memories. For Pitt, Miraval is his brainchild, proof of the passion and effort he invested in building a respected wine brand. He has said it is part of his legacy. For Jolie, Miraval is a shadow she cannot escape, a binding tie to a man she longs to move beyond. Selling her stake to Stoli Group, in her eyes, was liberation. In his, it was betrayal. Pause for a moment and imagine. When Pitt filed his lawsuit, did he think back to strolling through vineyards with Jolie, planning their future? When Jolie drafted her counterclaim, did she recall their wedding day on that very estate? Their children dressed in white, laughing? The law sees only clauses and evidence. The human heart sees memories and love once shared. That gap deepens the pain. In 2024, when a judge required Jolie to turn over 8 years' worth of NDAs she had signed, many saw it as routine procedure. To Jolie, it was an intrusion, forcing her to reveal her career dealings, contracts, and restrictions she may have wished to keep private. To Pitt, it was a chance to show that NDAs are standard business practice, not coercion. Look deeper, and you see 2 wounds, one feeling disbelieved in her honesty, the other striving not to be painted as an oppressor. By 2025, tensions rose further when Pitt demanded access to messages, emails, and even sought to question representatives of Stoli Group. Jolie accused him of dragging out the case to exhaust her. Each legal maneuver felt like another knife cut, slicing into what remained of their broken bond. And in those courtrooms, as lawyers clashed, it was clear Pitt and Jolie were there not only over property, but also over unresolved pain. Some say hatred is only love left unresolved. Perhaps neither Pitt nor Jolie has truly escaped their past. Pitt clings to Miraval as if clinging to a piece of memory, trying to hold on to something once theirs. Jolie sells her stake to sever every remaining tie. And so, they meet in court, not to find each other, but to battle over a symbol of their bygone time. In every hearing, Pitt likely carries regret more than anger. Regret that what was once shared joy has become the root of conflict. Regret that instead of toasting with Miraval wine together, they now wield it as a weapon in court filings. Jolie, behind her cold composure, must also feel sorrow. Sorrow for once believing in a perfect family, sorrow for having to recount painful memories before strangers, sorrow that a man who was once her partner is now her adversary. Their regrets are not theirs alone. Their children, though absent from court, surely sense it. For them, Miraval was once home. Now each media headline turns it into a symbol of dispute and division. And if one day they read through the case files, will they remember their sweet childhood memories of the estate, or only see the cold pages of accusations? Some may ask, what will the outcome be? The court may rule Jolie was wrong to sell her shares, or that Pitt was unreasonable in his demands. But no matter the verdict, both have already lost. Pitt has lost his inner peace, Jolie her sense of serenity, and their children the image of parents who once loved each other. That is the greatest tragedy. When the law has spoken and the assets are divided, the wounds of the heart remain. The law is cold, but the human heart is not. One day, when the legal war is finally over, Pitt and Jolie may realize that what they truly regret is not Miraval, but the love that once shook Hollywood, a love they allowed resentment and legal documents to bury. And when that day comes, no matter who wins or loses in court, both will still carry another defeat, the failure to preserve the most beautiful memory of their lives. Brad Pitt's crossroads is now clear. A man in his early 60s, at once seasoned and fragile. He has everything: fame, awards, a career. But what he cannot hold on to is inner peace. Miraval, once a dream, has become a chain. He clings to it not merely for money or brand value, but because he wants to prove to himself that some part of his memory has not been swept away by time and betrayal. Yet the more he holds on, the less sweetness that legacy retains. Each glass of Miraval wine may earn praise from connoisseurs, but in his heart it carries a bitter aftertaste. His crossroads asks a difficult question. Will he keep defending Miraval as his last fortress, or will he let go, accepting that some memories belong to the past? A man strong before the camera may still tremble when faced with choosing between legacy and peace. And whatever the outcome, one still sees in him the shadow of someone who once loved deeply, once trusted, and now tries to patch the wreckage with legal filings. Angelina Jolie's crossroads is different. She has long walked the path of independence, defining herself as an artist, a humanitarian, and a devoted mother. For her, Miraval is the last shackle of a marriage she wanted to escape. Selling her shares was her way of breaking free, not for money, but to prove that no chain tied her to the past. Yet as the lawsuit drags on, she is pulled back into the very memories she wished to erase. She must present old NDAs, recount past events, and endure the glare of public scrutiny. Her crossroads lies between two roads: to keep fighting until the end, laying everything bare to reclaim absolute freedom, or to stop, remain silent, and shield her children's fragile peace. Both paths carry a heavy price. If she continues, she may find freedom, but her children may suffer more wounds. If she stops, she may protect their calm but never truly free herself. And in truth, it is the children who stand at the most important crossroads. They did not choose their parents, nor this fight over a French estate. Yet they must grow up amid court leaks and gossip about their family. For them, Miraval should have been a vault of childhood memories, a summer home echoing with laughter. Now, every time its name is spoken, it is tied to lawsuits, blame, and pain. One can only wonder, in their hearts, is Miraval still a home, or has it become a scar? What makes this story most painful is the layering of regrets. Pitt regrets he could not protect his family as he once hoped. Jolie regrets that the greatest love of her life ended in bitterness. Their children regret an incomplete childhood. And we, outsiders, regret that a romance once admired worldwide has shattered in a way no one wanted to see. This regret is like a mournful song played on repeat, each time cutting deeper. Yet regret can also be an opportunity. Through loss, people learn to redefine what truly matters. A court ruling may decide who was right or wrong, who owns Miraval, but it cannot decide who provides a true home for the children. And the final most important question is not who wins the lawsuit, but whether Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, after everything, can still be a home for their children. The answer lies not in legal records or a judge's verdict, but in their choices. A home does not have to be an intact marriage. A home can be two people who learn to speak calmly, to put their children above disputes, to share a holiday table so the kids feel that even if their parents no longer belong to each other, they still belong to a family. That possibility has not vanished. It is fragile, but it remains. The question is whether Pitt has the courage to let go of pride, and whether Jolie has the generosity to set aside some pain, so together they can rebuild a shared roof for their children. We may never know the certain answer, but looking into the eyes of those 6 children, anyone can see they do not need their parents to win or lose in court. They only need a place to return to, a true home, where beautiful memories are not buried beneath stacks of legal files. And perhaps, one day, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie will also realize everything they have pursued, money, prestige, legacy, only truly matters if their children can still sit together around a table and call it family.